All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining me today. Today, we are going to build pasture 4. Well, the pasture exists. We just need to fence it in. So it's a 40-acre alfalfa field. I'm dropping off gates and posts where we need them. So we'll put a set of gates here. So pasture 4 is on this side, and pasture 5 will fence up here, and that way then we can have still have our lane to the woods. And then the gates, so in the winter time they'll be here this winter, so then we open these gates and we'll just make a little poly lane to the feedlot like we do other years, so then they have access to winter water and the storm shelter, the lean-to. And then in the future, then pasture 5 will have a set of gates, blah blah blah. So we already got pasture 3, so one side is already done a fence. We're not going to do the woods, so we're just going to go up here a little ways and just strike straight across. Then over winter we can go along that tree line and pick. I want to keep the hardwoods and the pretty trees and the old growth there, but there's a lot of crap that we can cut off and kind of clean that fence. We're not going to be able to move it back at all, but just clean it up so we can kind of hug the woods with the fence a little bit, so we're not worried about them brush trees, your popples and box elders and little crabapple trees, the trees that fall apart and break your fence. So we'll get that cleaned up over winter, and then next spring finish the fence up there. But at least we'll get it up and running so the cows can have 90% of this field, and we'll chop bales here all winter, and then next year they'll graze the alfalfa coming up until it's time to plant corn at the end of May. We'll kick them off to the other pastures, and then we'll put corn in here, and then pasture 5 we'll get back to pasture. Whether we do I'm thinking for pasture 5, what we do is maybe we should seed it to a sorghum sudan nurse crop with our alfalfa clover grass mix, and then we get some good tonnage feed before it comes back to grazing pasture. But that's a different conversation. Let's get these gates off and get these gates off and these poles. Look at these poles. These are just pretty. These are just pretty. Go to your big box store and look for a pole like that. Man, them are just pretty. I buy them through myself, and boy, oh boy, that is some good looking stuff. And these gates, good heavy gates. There's, these are the light duty 1 5/8", but they're a little bit heavier sidewall. So compared to like your Bowen or your County Line or your, that kind of stuff you get from Tractor Supply, these are heavier than their 2-inch gates, but we run a much better hinge up here. I like that hinge. Much better hinge and a better chain, and the chain is bolted, not with a cheap little clasp. So, okay, there's my sales pitch for the day. But yeah, let's get moving. Well, we got one post in. Oh, this ground is hard. I tell you guys all the time we got concrete, and that's why I'm trying soil health, but that's a big driver. Well, she ran across the 40 to put her poncho or something on the post, and now all the cows moved it behind it, so it's kind of visible. So we're gonna we use our poly wire as our straight line. So we'll just drive towards that, and we'll put 1 or 2 middle posts in to help support the wire to help give us a straight edge. We got this short side done. We had to rent a post hole auger. We had to auger them in. Well, then of course you get started and you hit a rock, so almost every post isn't where we exactly want it to be, but the ground is so dry and so hard, you ain't putting a steel fence post in. We had to sharpen the wood fence posts, and that was a 10-inch shaver driver to put them 6-inch posts in. And he said normally in the springtime on an unsharpened 6-inch, you know, it's 6-7 hits and it's to depth. And we were at 40 to 50 hits on a post. I mean, it just ping, ping, it went nowhere. So yeah, our gates are right down there. So we'll have them gates, like I said, to go into there. So now we'll work on getting this line ran. Obviously that side's already done. So then all we got to do is go down to that corner and come across and up to this corner. And so, yeah, not bad. I think another 80 some of these posts, and 80 to 100 posts, and we'll be done. Well, son of a gun. We got all the posts in around the 40. Then we came in here, and here's our winter lane. So we've done this before, is they'll come through the gates and go into the feedlot, and then we cut the feedlot in half, and then when it comes time for sorting, you know, for weaning, we can then flip-flop calves around and all that happy crap. The calves go to one side, the bull comes back to the cows, and it works out pretty slick up here. Yeah, and then in the springtime we'll pull this post out and farm the field, and it's going to be a thing of beauty. I might just end it right there, and we'll do a different video when it comes time to doing the H braces, tying that up. I have a lot of pride in my tying of wire. It doesn't always come out pretty, but it's like one of them memes, you know, them memes where like in your head, and then you see a guy on a dirt bike like clearing a 200-foot jump, you know, over the Grand Canyon, and then in reality, you know, you like got the front wheel to come off the ground an inch when you shifted gears, kinda. That's what my fencing is like. Like in my head, like this is something of a thing of beauty, and then in reality it looks like, man, that looks like a bird started building a nest there. But I try, and so all right, we'll see you on the next video.